Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. I usually like to script them and carefully edit them and try and put a lot of time in, but the summer for me every year is a really busy time with work and other commitments, and so it's really hard to put content out on YouTube. So I want to still put stuff out there, and so to help me prevent getting any kind of burnout on doing YouTube videos, we're going to do some unscripted stuff for a little while until I have time to do some more edited things. So I really wanted to talk about Infinity. We just recently had the GenCon seminars and stuff from Corvus Belli. And so this video is going to be focused on Infinity. I'm also going to be putting out a video on Warcrow, and I'll put out another video as well on some of the updates we've had from Aristea 2.0 Legends of the Hexadome. Choose the title that is your choice, I guess. I'm going to have trouble not calling it Aristea. But coming back to Infinity, let's just kind of go over some of the updates we've had recently. I'm just going to talk about what we're seeing, what I think about them. I'd love to hear your opinions down below as well, so please let me know what you think of all of the new stuff coming for Infinity. So first of all, just some quick things, some like kind of side notes that are going with Infinity here. We've got an American tournament happening in Denver that was announced called Krug. I don't quite understand the name. I'm sure there's some sort of acronym in there somewhere. But it's going to be 124 players, 300 points. Seems like a pretty big tournament. So hope that goes well. We're looking forward to hearing the results, see which factions are going to be doing well in the American scene there. We've also got the Rem Racers, the card game coming out. I know it's not specifically Infinity, but this is a big kind of a meh for me. I enjoyed the Rem Racers game. It feels like Mario Kart, and I sometimes pull it out with friends when we got some extra time to kill between games of Infinity and stuff like that. And it's kind of fun to play every so often, but I didn't feel like there needed to be a card game or a travel game, so it'll just depend on how much fun it is. Otherwise, it's going to go straight over the radar for me, really. We do have a new ITS tournament pack coming out, and what's always interesting when a new ITS tournament pack comes out is that we're getting new ITS rules as well. So it'll always be interesting to see what the new season brings, what scenarios are going to be kept in the loop, what new ones are we getting brought in, and what kind of special rules are we going to be playing with. So it's just going to be interesting to see if there's any big change-ups this time around. Other than that, actually in the pack we do get a new model, and that's the Sacha. It's a terrible name. Yes? Alright, back to it. What were we looking at? Oh yeah, we're looking at the Searcher. And a terrible name in my mind, because it's literally Japanese katakana for searcher. It's like Sacha. It's just going to be so horrible to say every time, especially because I'm in Japan and I want to read it as that rather than what's kind of written, which is like the Sacha, which is not quite the pronunciation on it. Really not feeling the sculpt on this particular model. She's, you know, the weird bunny ears thing. I don't know. It's just nothing special, really. It feels like Pan-O cosplaying as JSA or something. But the model profile itself is pretty freaking awesome, I want to say, because it's 5 points for the model, which is really dirt cheap, and it gives you a regular order. I mean, that's probably that's cheaper than a freaking Aleph thingy-majiggy. Sorry, I don't play Aleph. But you know those net rods? They're net rods, there we go. It's a bit like one of the net rods, where the net rods I think are like 5 or 6 points, and that gives you a regular order, but they don't do anything, they just sit there. Now you could just do the same with this, but it also comes with a few other things that it can do, which is 1, it can move around, and 2, it has climbing plus, so it can actually move around pretty decently. She has a flash pulse, just like a Warcor. She also has EM grenades with +1 burst, which is actually pretty damn decent. And a stun pistol with +1 burst as well. So I think she's pretty good for 5 points. And she also has booty as well. Terrain total, so not being slowed down by anything in terms of terrain stuff. Kind of cool model, to be honest. And I mean, close combat 17 isn't anything to sniff at. So she can hold her own in close combat. It's pretty decent for 5 points. It's crazy. So yeah, I could probably run one of those in my Torchlight Brigade because I usually run a Warcor in my Torchlight Brigade, just to kind of give me an extra irregular order that I can use my command points on to convert into a regular order when I need it. But this would actually just give me a regular order for 2 more points. It seems pretty good, to be honest. And I could bring her and a Warcor. 8 points. I get basically a couple of orders out of that to really boost my my kind of elite squads in the in Torchlight Brigade. I think this is just like a win-win for that kind of thing. So really liking the profile. I think it may be a bit too strong. I don't know what your opinion is on that one, but the model itself sucks, so I'm going to proxy it. Speaking of Warcors, we're also going to be getting the Glyth Warcor, which is the combined armies version of a Warcor. And the pose in the artwork is pretty cool, pretty impressive. A bit too impressive for what is essentially a 3-point model. So it's like, okay. The actual model itself, though, far less interesting pose. I really don't like the pose. I find it really... It's the infinity version of a T-pose to me, where it's just kind of like holding the pistol up a bit and just standing there. And it doesn't really read to me as a journalist. I know it's an alien, so it's hard to tell what an alien journalist is going to look like, but still, I don't really get the journalist vibes. It's the same problem I had with the previous journalist, which was like that robot journalist. It just... What about it tells me that it's a journalist? As a model, as a design, I don't see that. So it's always been a bit disappointing, the recent Warcor models, for me personally. We also have the Jinwei Forbidden Troops for the Imperial Service. These guys, I think they look pretty cool. At first, I was a little bit off-put by the great big baggy pants, but... Seeing the models themselves, I quite like the fact that there's a robot underneath, and it's just kind of covered with all of this kind of maybe synthetic cloth type stuff. Makes it for a very unique and cool design, and that's what I kind of want to see in the models. Is like, what is unique about each model that Infinity releases, because that really helps build the flavor of all of the sectorials. And these ones are very unique compared to a lot of other models. Love the kind of the manta ray style head that they have, and yeah, and the kind of insectoid kind of pose with the legs. Yeah, these are really cool. Like them a lot. And obviously you get the Kangfrang as well with them. So I think these are really cool. If you're running Imperial Service, they're a kind of a cool one to buy. They're kind of like the JSA equivalent. They're equivalent to the JSA's droids. I forget what they're called though. But really nice stuff. Then we've got also for not just Imperial Service, but for Yu Qing is the Feiquan Flyer. Probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but we've had a lot of the flyers starting to come out at the moment. We're going to have a look at the new Hakkaslan one soon as well. I'll just say something about the flyers. Something that they've started to grow on me in terms of their design and how they look. I haven't been able to play with one yet. I did actually record a whole video and I started editing. I got about halfway through the edit and everything. I just didn't like the video. I thought it sucked. So I just didn't release it. But I'll share with you a little bit of what I think of the flyers. I haven't been able to play with them yet, so I don't know. But I do think, my first opinion of the flyers was, do we really need flyers in Infinity? Do we need these vehicle types in Infinity? What's the point? We've got bikes and stuff. Are they going to really bring something new? And the more I kind of looked at the profiles and how they work and everything, and I realized, yeah, they actually do kind of bring something a little bit different. They're a little bit tougher than a bike, and they're more about kind of positional control across the battlefield, being able to kind of get positions where they can really kind of control the battlefield a little bit more. Obviously, they're not going to be able to be objective takers because they don't have any kind of specialists and things, but they are really, I think, great for hassling the opponent's objective takers. So I definitely think Flyers have their place in Infinity now that I've been looking at the profiles. I'm really excited to actually try and play with one. And I am tempted to pick up the Fire Bat for O12 to try with my O12 army. But yeah, it's a pretty cool design. I quite like it. It's all right. The fake one. For Nomads are getting a few models. We've got the Triggermen and the Companion Bot. Yeah, the Triggermen... I would like to see a painted version of this. I don't think we saw a painted version yet. The sculpt is not... It's always hard to tell sometimes with the kind of the grayscale 3D models. Sometimes it's really clear, like, oh, this is going to be a really cool model. And other times you're like, I'm not really seeing where the details really pop out for me. And I'm having a little bit of a trouble with the head, seeing what the head's going to look like painted. So I'm going to have to wait and see what this one looks like, but I'm not really feeling it at the moment. The bot, though, looks really cool. I like the remote that kind of comes with the Triggerman. I think the bot is the one that wins the day on that one. It's pretty cool, nice and sleek. Then we've got the Gruppa. So these are basically, I guess, they'll run like Bane from Batman, where you have kind of a slimmed down version who's regular, and then when they ingest loads of the toxins and stuff or whatever they carry, they suddenly beef up and become a bit more powerful. The models themselves, I think, like, the painted models look really nice. A really nice job on the painting. I really, really like that. It was very cool. I always like these kind of purple, darker skin tones. There are a lot of things that I like to try and do in my painting as well. So that really, really, I think works very well for these particular models. I would have almost liked to have seen the Beefcake version be a bit beefier. Like, already the slimmed down version obviously is still muscular and strong. But I would like to see that difference be a little bit more profound. Otherwise, it's still very kind of cool models. Again, very unique as well. So that's kind of cool in that sense there. So we talked about the Flyers. I got the Hakkislam Flyer, the Zeybeck. And the Zeybeck is basically the flyer from June. They decided to put in the kind of the locust wings on the thing. And yeah, I feel it. That's just cool. I mean, you just double down on the whole Hakkislam, certainly the Hassassin Baram being very June inspired in a lot of the design elements. And I think that's just awesome. That's cool. And I really, really like Hakkislam. They were the first faction that really got me into Infinity. So I got a kind of a special place for them. And I think this flyer suits them really nicely. So very, very nice job. And their operator, the Zeybeck operator, comes with a Spitfire as well. So that's kind of cool. Let's get on to tags. Man, the Anaconda. CB right now are doing an excellent job on their recent tags that they've been releasing. So we had, what was it, the special character tag. I forget his name, but the new model for that one freaking looks amazing. Sorry, I have a really bad memory for names, so you have to forgive me. I'll put a picture up so you can see. But the Anaconda here also, what a wonderful sculpt. The tags are now starting to really get these dynamic poses, which just makes them so much more interesting to look at on the battlefield rather than these kind of static, just big beefy units. They're now kind of actually in action. And to take these old tag sculpts and now just give them a new breath of life, I think these are really good updates for the tags. So I'm really looking forward to where all the tags are going from now on, because these ones are looking really nice. I absolutely adore them. They're fantastic. I would love the Torchlight Brigade tag to be redone. I hate that model with the giant shoulders. To be honest, I dislike it a lot. In fact, I'd probably say the I would rather it look a bit like the war rig from Warcrow that has recently been released. And I'm like looking at that going, why can't my Torchlight Brigade tag look like that? I want that as my Torchlight Brigade tag. That would be cool. But yeah, that's basically all the models that have been released, that are coming up to be released. We've got a little bit more though, because we've got a whole new faction coming. We do have the Infinity novel Deathsong coming out. Always nice to see more fiction coming out. I had probably one of my most successful videos is me complaining about the lack of fiction that gives you more information about characters living within the worlds or the galaxy of Infinity. And it's really always so nice to see more and more kind of like good fiction coming out. So I'll be very, very interested to see and maybe try and pick up Deathsong to have a read. Now, one of the biggest pieces of news that came out of GenCon, this is a big one, is that they're bringing back all the sectorials that got cut. And they're apparently going to be coming this year as well. So that's quite a lot of sectorials just going to be released on the Army app. That's going to be very exciting. I was lucky none of my stuff got cut in the first place, but I know others that did get stuff cut, and especially people that liked to run like the NA2 stuff, they got cut. I do have one friend who runs like White Banner, so getting his White Banner back again will be very, very nice. Is that right? Is it White Banner? White Company. I'm mixed those two up. So I'll be happy to be getting that back if that one's coming back. I'm pretty sure they said all sectorials, so that's great. For me personally, I always had a soft spot for Caledonia, the Ariadne faction. I never got round to collecting them, so having them coming back, definitely if I'm interested in really starting up a new army in the future. Right now I've got way too many miniatures to paint and get on with, so that's not going to be happening very soon. But the fact that I'll be able to run a Caledonia army, that will be the one that I would probably want to jump in on. So very, very good news. I'm sure that will make a lot of people happy. We'll see how they do when they come out. And then on top of that, we've got a new sectorial coming. I think this is kind of one that was seen coming. We weren't sure if this was going to be in a new sectorial or this was going to be kind of lumped in with maybe an update of a previous sectorial, such as the Onyx Task Force or something like that. But we've got basically Achilles coming out with his own sectorial called, is it New Wave? Next Wave? Next Wave. So we've got Next Wave coming for Combined Army, and I'm going to tell you right now, not interested. To be honest, I'm not interested. It is a kind of like, generally I guess it's like a purely human-based Combined Army faction. And that's not why I collect Combined Army. If I want humans, I have the whole choice of other factions to choose from in terms of humans, pretty much. I don't need humans in my alien faction so much. That's my feeling anyway. I'm sure some people are going to be really excited for it, but that's just my take on it. I mean, the artwork for Achilles looks really cool, and I'm sure when the model comes out, it's going to look absolutely awesome. And we've also got all of his friends, like Drakios, I'm probably pronouncing that really badly, and Tissot. We've got some models being shown off of the Harbingers. And yeah, they're just kind of humans with kind of alien little bits of augmentation on them and things, but ultimately they're humans wearing combined armor. Same thing goes for the Ironsides. It's just, yeah, the whole combined army kind of just being humanified. I don't know. For me, I like combined army because you get to run the aliens and you run different stuff, and that's just my take on it. So talking about aliens and bringing something different from the other factions, we do at least have the Tech Dragons, which is basically bringing dinosaurs into the combined army, which I'm all for. That's great. That's the kind of stuff I like to see in combined army. I want to see the crazy stuff in combined army and have some fun. These things look big. Obviously, we've only got the artwork at the moment, so I'll be very interested in seeing what the actual model looks like and how the thing runs. I'm guessing this is basically like a combined army vehicle. Whether or not it's like the equivalent of a flyer, I don't know, but it's like a ground vehicle or something. It's certainly going to be a bit like a tank, but yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty cool. I like to see that, so that's great. I'll be very interested to see what comes from that. And now all of the new wave is going to be released as an action pack, so we can expect to see Achilles, a number of his heroes that he brought over from Aleph is probably going to be in that action pack, along with the Harbingers, and I'm sure we'll get the Ironsides in there as well, maybe with a few other models. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see it come out, but it's not caught my fancy yet. Maybe once I see the models in their entirety all painted up, that might do something to me, like pull the strings a little bit on me. But and maybe when we see the profiles as well, what makes this faction unique? That's always another thing. It's like when you're also getting into a faction, what does it do that's special compared to the other factions? And that's often sometimes the thing that pulls you into them. But at the moment, aesthetically and lore-wise, just not feeling them. Anyway, that's basically everything that's been coming out for Infinity from the GenCon stuff. So yeah, that's my take on everything. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below. And yeah, sorry for this more in-person style that I'm doing without a script. I'm not very good at this, so I apologize for the umming and erring I do throughout. And yeah, otherwise have a lovely weekend, everyone, or have a lovely week wherever you are, or whatever time you're watching this. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.